Hello, welcome to yoga this afternoon. We'll go ahead and get started. So just wherever's comfortable, find a seated position. We'll find shoulders over the hips, ears over the shoulders. If you need to shrug the shoulders up a little bit and drop them down and back, that's perfect here. We'll just think about the crown of the head lifting up away from the tailbone. So you can close your eyes or find a spot to gaze at. Just a few deep, even breaths into the diaphragm and the chest. So right away, we can look for movement to the ribs below the armpits and the bottom set of ribs. That's where the majority of movement happens as we inhale and exhale. Exaggerating a few breaths, you may notice movement to the chest and shoulders as you inhale and exhale. An exaggerated breath, maybe noticing movement to the clavicle and upper back. Just finding that movement as best you can as you lengthen. If you're a little taller at the top of your inhale, maintaining that length on the exhale as the shoulders continue to relax. So long, smooth exhale as best you can. You don't want to force anything with the breath, but just finding a rhythm that works for you. As we move through our practice, just trying to keep focus to the inhales and exhales that'll keep our movement deliberate and safe, our stillness deliberate and safe. We have oxygen to the body means we aren't cramping up or fatiguing as quickly. Continuing to find your long, smooth exhale, we're just going to take 3 or 4 more breaths here in stillness, maintaining your length. I'm going to move to the 6 moves of the spine. We'll keep these real simple here. On the inhale, just reaching up out of the hips. You can let the shoulders relax away from the ears. On the exhale, we'll bring the left hand down to the floor and we'll reach up and out to the right. So you can gaze up past the right bicep if you'd like. You can relax the head and neck and gaze at the floor. Just don't shrug the left shoulder, but keep the scapula down and back. We'll take about 4 breaths here. Be careful you're not crunching the rib cage down into the pelvis as you breathe. On an exhale, abs will gently squeeze all the way up, shoulders down the back. If you'd like, go and switch the legs out. So the opposite one on top or in front. That's just an option, of course. We'll do the same thing, reaching up out of the hips as the shoulders relax. On the exhale, we'll take the right hand to the floor, and we'll reach up and out to the right. The same thing, just try to stack the shoulders as best you can. Gently lifting the left ribs. Left leg relaxes. Any movements to the head and neck you need to add, and we'll breathe. Maintaining length. Just wait for the natural exhale. The bottom of the set of ribs will squeeze as we come up, shoulders down the back. Into our twist. So hands over to your left knee and we'll lift the ribs up off the hip points. So the primary focus here is maintaining length. So we don't want to round over here. We're not going to lean out to the left or behind us, but lifting the ribs up off the hips. Inhale tall, and on the exhale, twist around to your left. And you can gaze over the shoulder or close the eyes. If you can keep the lower back relaxed and the chest open, it'll keep the stretch across the upper back and the tension out of the lower part of the spine. Breathing naturally once again on the inhale, hip comes around last to the center. Hands to the opposite knee and we'll lift the ribs, shoulders down the back. And on the exhale, twisting around. So as you twist, you can gaze over the shoulder, which will pull you into your twist. You can close the eyes, which will make this a little more relaxed. Whatever feels comfortable or appropriate here. Your breath. Abs and obliques lifting the ribs. Chest is open. That'll keep tension off the lower back and keep the stretch across the upper back. Inhale, head around last to the center. Just going to bring hands to the floor behind us, and we'll let the chest lift. So just a simple back bend here. So don't push the chest or the belly forward, but instead lift the chest up. Keep the shoulders down and back. If you want to keep the chin tucked, you can gaze at the floor. You can gaze up where the ceiling meets the wall. If it's appropriate, you can gaze up at the ceiling. And as long as you aren't jutting the chin out, you can relax the head and neck back as little or as much as you'd like. Any kind of side-to-side movement you need to add, we'll take about 3 deep breaths. Shrugging the shoulders, so you can push into the fingertips, you can shrug the shoulders to lift the head back up once you're all the way back up to center, nice and tall. And on the exhale, simple seated forward fold. We're just going to bring the chest forward towards the thighs. You can have the hands to the floor here. You can relax the head and neck. Ears from shoulder to shoulder, chin from side to side. You want to take the chest over the left and right thigh. That'll open up into the lower back here a little bit. Just try to keep the hips grounded to the floor. And once you come back down the center, once again, hands for as little or as much support as you'd like. We'll just relax the head and neck and take about 4 breaths there. Breathing through resistance here. We fold it over the breathing muscles. We get a little bit of the opening into the intercostals between the ribs across the back. Last deep breath here. Hands for support. We'll just walk the hands all the way back into a seated position, shoulders over the hips, ears over the shoulders. When you're ready, we're going to come into standing at the top of the mat here. So we just want inside or outside edges of the feet parallel to one another. We'll rotate the palms forward to drop the shoulders. We want to think about length. So when we move into our back bend, we want to think about the chest lifting and the thighs moving forward as opposed to just pushing the belly one way and the tailbone the other. We want to think about thighs forward, chest lifting. So rotate the palms forward, shoulders down the back. When you're ready on the inhale, thighs forward, lift the chest. If you want to take the arms up, that's an option. Exhale, forward fold. You can swan dive, ragdoll, or hinge through. Hands for support as much as you need. Gentle bend to the knees, like to keep pressure off the back. Once you're into your forward fold, just a little bit of walking out to the hamstrings. You can shift the weight from left to right as you straighten and bend opposing knees. Ears from shoulder to shoulder, chin from side to side as much as you need to. So we want to bend the knees enough so that the hands can touch the floor for a half lift. This will keep the shear pressure off the lumbar spine. So when you're ready on the inhale, hands to the shins, chest parallel. We want to open the chest and pull the shoulders down away from the ears. Once you've found a neutral spine, exhale, relax. 2 more on the inhale, half lift, extend. Exhale, relax. The last one, inhale, extend. Exhale, relax. Hands on either sides of the feet. Step the right foot to the back of the mat. Nice long lunge, and we'll drop the right knee down to the floor. So keep the left knee over the top of the ankle. Hands are more or less on either sides of the foot. If you want tinted fingers, that's an option. Fists will keep pressure off the wrist, flat hands. If you need more space for tight quads, you can bring the hands to the inside edge of the foot, and that'll just make more room for the body. We're going to think about 2 or 3 breaths here. If you want to gaze over opposing shoulders, that'll add a little bit of a twist into the hip and thigh. Once again, keep the neck long. 2 more breaths here. Whenever you're ready on the exhale, we're just going to shift the hips back. Heels or toes press out in front. So you don't have to straighten out the left leg. Keep the knee real bent and the chest and thigh real close to the, or close together so the chest is kind of on the quad. You'll isolate the stretch into the hamstring and keep all that pressure off the knees and the lower back. If you like the straight leg, that's your option. We'll take about 3 breaths here. Gazing forward as long as you can keep the chin from jutting forward, or relaxing the head and neck, tucking the chin, whatever's comfortable. When you're ready on the inhale, we're shifting forward, back to the lunge. We're just going to switch the feet out. So lift the back knee, Step the left foot back to meet the right. Then take the right foot up between the hands. Same thing here. We'll drop the back knee. If you need to bring the hands to the inside edge of the foot, that'll make a little more room for tight quads. Any rocking of the hips from side to side you need to do. Gazing over opposing shoulders will give you a little bit of a twist into the lower back of the hip. We'll just pause here and breathe. Same deep breaths. Back of the neck is long. Half back bend on the left side of the body and a lunge here. And so we'll move from quadricep and hip flexor on the left side to hamstring on the right. So when you're ready on the exhale, gently shift the hips back. Heels or toes of the right foot pushing out. You're going to keep the knees slightly bent so you can keep the belly and the chest on the thigh. That's perfect here. If you would like straight legs, that's your option. Breathing. When you're ready on the inhale, we're just going to slowly shift forward back to our lunge. Curl the back toe under and we'll step into high plank. So that's both feet to the back of the mat. Knees drop if you need to. And on the exhale, just coming down all the way to the floor, leading to the chest, elbows in tight, and then scoop up into a little back bend. We just want to push into the tops of the feet so much your knees lift. Glutes squeeze, anchor into the pelvis, and then pull the chest forward. And this is more about moving the chest forward across the floor and the toes back across the floor than it is about how much you lift up. We have the glutes, that's your buttocks, and the abdominal wall hugged up against the skeleton. It helps keep the lower back long and pressure off the spine. 2 more breaths here. Exhale, down dog. Curl your toes, lift the hips up and back towards the heels. So we just want to keep hands and feet on the floor, chest to the thighs. You can relax the head and neck. You can gaze down at the floor into the face, whatever is comfortable for your neck here once again. Even weight to the palms of the hands, so we don't want to lift the outside or inside edge of the hand. A couple of breaths. If you need to lift the heels and bend the knees, find a neutral spine rather than straight legs. Knees drop if you need it. On your inhale, take the left foot up between the hands. We'll come into a high lunge, so we'll keep the back knee lifted. The left knee and ankle stays lined up. Keep the right leg real strong and straight. So push into the palms as you pull the chest forward. Keep your neck long. If you need your hands to the inside edge of the foot again, that's perfect. So with the back knee lifted, push the heel back and pull the chest forward. 4 breaths. Long, smooth exhales. With the back knee lifted on your exhale, shift the hips back. So we're slowly straightening out the left leg. And you don't have to straighten the leg out. You can keep a gentle bend to the knee. Heels or toes or the left foot press out. We'll take about 3 or 4 breaths here. On an inhale, we're just going to slowly shift forward. Drop the knee over the top of the ankle again. Switch the feet out so we have the right foot up between the hands, left foot to the floor behind you, and we'll keep the left knee lifted this time. Hands to the inside edge of the foot or either side. Strong legs as we press into the floor. So we don't want the knee bending too much or it'll take the hip down. If you let the leg straighten and the heel move back out behind you, it'll help to keep the lower back a little more even. So tinted fingers, flat hands or fists. Back of the neck is long. We'll take about 4 or 5 breaths here. And when you're ready on the exhale, we're just going to shift the hips back. Heels or toes press out. Back knees lifted up off the floor. If you want to keep a gentle bend to your right knee, that's perfect. Heels or toes press out once again. finding your breath. We'll take the same breaths on this side as we did the other. No tension to the jaw. On the inhale, shift forward. We're just going to step the left foot to meet the right, forward fold. Inside or outside edges of the feet are parallel. You can reverse swan dive all the way up. Hands in front of the heart. Move into another set here. So thighs forward, chest lifts. On the inhale, thighs forward, chest lifts. Open. Exhale, forward fold, swan dive, ragdolling here, hinging through. Inhale, one half lift, extend. Bend the knees if you need to find a neutral spine. And then on the exhale, relax down. Left foot takes a big step to the back of the mat. Sinking through the hips. Press down into the right hand. And you can drop the back knee to the floor if you'd like. Or you can spin the left heel down to the floor. So if you have the left knee down, that's fine. Or you can spin the left heel down. Push into your right foot, right hand, and we'll take our left hand to the sky. Crown of the head and the heel reach apart from one another. You can gaze up past the left palm. You can gaze down to the inside edge of the right hand. Whatever feels best here, we'll take about 4 or 5 breaths. Exhale the hand down. Come up onto the back toes, so you have the left toes to the floor. If you'd rather drop the knee, that's an option. Strong left shoulder, right hand to the sky. When you lift your right hand, make sure your right foot pushes into the floor so we don't push the knee out to the side. And we want to keep the left shoulder down and back so we aren't shrugging. Your breath. Last 2 breaths here. Exhale the right hand to the floor. Lunge. Switch your feet out however you would like. We just want the left foot forward. Right foot out behind. So if you need to drop the knee, that's an option we had on the other side. If you'd rather spin the heel down to the floor, we'll spin the right heel to the floor. So left hand pushes into the floor. Left foot pushes into the floor. That'll keep the hips sinking. Right hand to the sky. Roll the shoulders over. You can gaze down the floor to the inside edge of the left hand. You can gaze up past the right palm if you'd like. We're going to take our 4 or 5 breaths. Jaw relaxed. Long, smooth exhales. Wait for your next exhale to take the right hand to the floor. You can drop the right knee down, or you can come up onto the right toes, whatever feels best. Press into your right hand and your left foot, and on the inhale, we'll take the left hand to the sky. Shoulders down the back. Remember, we want to pull the ribs up off the hips, so we're taking up as much space as is comfortable. We'll take about 4 or 5 breaths here. On the exhale, take the hand down to the floor. Lunge. Exhale, high plank. Left back to meet the right. So we're pushing the chest away from the floor. Knees drop if you need it. On the exhale, chaturanga. Elbows reach out behind you. Low cobra on the inhale. Tops of the feet push down so much your knees may lift. Glutes in the abs hug up against the skeleton as you pull the chest forward. So you can gaze forward or down a little bit if that helps keep your neck long. Elbows in once again, chest forward, and we'll take about 4 breaths. Strong legs. Exhale, down dog. Curl the toes, hips up and back towards the heels. Lifted heels and bent knees are perfect. Any rocking of the hips from side to side again. If you need your feet real wide or your hands real wide, take about 3 breaths. We'll take the right foot up between the hands. Inhaling or exhaling, drop the back knee. We'll come up to the front thigh. So we lift up here, let's keep the knee and ankle lined up. You can bring the hands to the thigh if you'd like. You're going to take the arms out like cactus arms. That's just bending the elbows and pointing the fingertips to the sky. That'll keep the chest open and the upper back kind of engaged. Biceps up by the ears. If you want to extend the arms, just keep the shoulders away from the ears. And then we'll gaze up between the palms or up to the sky. So don't jet the chin out, but you can lift the gaze a little bit. So the focus here is length from the pelvic floor up to the throat. If you can keep all this length, you can press down into the right foot. Some of us will curl under the left toes and lift the left knee up. We'll take about 4 breaths from here. Careful not to let the belly roll forward, but think about lifting the ribs to open the chest. On the exhale, we'll slowly take the hands down. We want to keep the abs and the obliques engaged the whole time. Lots of stability to the floor. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, switch the feet out. The left foot up between the hands, right knee drops. Knee and ankle lines up. Abs and obliques hug up against the skeleton. Press into the left foot as I bring the hands to the thigh. If this is where you stay, that's perfect. Sinking to the hips, shoulders down. Ribs lift. Cactus arms if you'd like. T position, biceps by the ears. If you want to lift the gaze, that's an option, or you can gaze forward. Just make sure you're lifting the ribs away from the hips. We're staying long from the pelvic floor to the throat. So we don't want to roll the belly forward and sway the back, but lifting up out of that space. Final option, if you want to curl under the right toes and lift the knee, that's your option here. We'll breathe. Same thing, no tension to the jaw. Abs, obliques, everything stays squeezing, so we're not relaxed. On the exhale, we can slowly move the hands back. Lunge. On the exhale, both feet to the back of the mat, so we're back in high plank. And then we're going to push the hips up and back towards the heels. Last down dog here. We'll take about 4 breaths. All the way down to the knees. Any rocking of the hips from side to side. We're going to stretch into the lower back here, and then we'll come up onto the knees for a lateral stretch. Knees wide, toes together, and we'll drop the hips back towards the heels, chest kind of towards the thighs or between the thighs, wherever you end up. Forehead to the backs of the hands if you'd like. Breathing. So open a little bit into the side ribs before we get too much further. Walk your hands to the right. We'll bring the chest over to the thigh. Left fingertips reach out. 4 breaths. Back to sit on the inhale. Exhale, opposite side, chest over the left thigh, and we'll reach the right fingertips out, your breath. Inhale to center. And you can go up to stand on your knees here for just a moment. So shoulders down the back. Maybe about hips, shoulders, knees all lined up. So to start, we'll take the right leg out to the right. So if you're going to use a block or anything, you can have it off to your left side. You want toes and knees facing the same direction, lifting the ribs up off the hips. So when the glutes and abs hug up against the skeleton, it just keeps the back protected and long so we aren't pushing the tailbone out behind us. On the inhale, reaching up, ribs lift. On the exhale, right hand down to the leg, and we'll inhale up and out to the right. So you can push your hips off to the left. Take the hand to the leg, or if you'd like, or the floor, or block if you needed it. And this can be hand over the shoulder, fingertips to the shoulder. That'll keep a lot of pressure off the shoulder girdle. Bicep by the ear if you'd rather. We'll take about 4 or 5 breaths here. You can gaze up past the armpit. You can gaze down to the inside edge of the leg. That'll be the most stable place for balance. Abs and obliques hug up against the skeleton. On the exhale, we'll lift up, and we'll just reach out to the other side. Just place your hand down. Left shoulder over the left wrist. You can gaze up past your right palm if you'd like. Chest is open. Final option here is to lift or float the right leg up off the floor. So you're just kind of balanced on the hand and the knee on the left side of the body. 4 breaths. Wait for the exhale. The bottom side of ribs will kind of squeeze. We'll lift up, shoulders down the back, right down to the knees, hands to the floor. Just any kind of cat-cows you need to do. Just movements across the back. On the inhale, chest forward away from the hips as the hips slide out behind us. On the exhale, lifting to the bottom set of ribs, extend the spine. When you're ready, we'll come back up to the knees. Any movements you need to make. So the block will probably be off to your right here on this side. Left leg extends. Knees and toes face the same direction. Abs and obliques lift the ribs. Shoulders down the back. Glutes just hug up against the back of the skeleton. On the inhale, reaching up, open the chest. On the exhale, we'll take the left hand to the leg and up and out to the left. Walk the fingers down the leg. Bend at the elbow as much as you need to. Shoulders down the back. Once again, fingertips to the shoulders, hand over the shoulder, bicep by the ear if you feel like that's appropriate. Just don't collapse the chest forward, but rotate open, stacking the shoulders. We'll take the same breaths here. When you're in the exhale, press up. We'll plant the right hand to the floor. Under the shoulder. Stack the shoulders, glutes and the abs, hug up against the skeleton. We can float the left leg up if you'd like. Same breaths on this side. Abs and obliques gently squeeze on the exhale. We'll come all the way through. Shoulders down the back. Knees to the floor. Hands to the floor. Just gentle movements into the lower back. Once again, if you need to arch the back on the exhale, rounding the spine. On the inhale, you can let the belly naturally drop. We don't want to tense up the lower back. We're just finding an openness to the chest. A few breaths here. From where you are, we'll find a high plank, and we'll use that to set the distance between hands and feet. Down dog, as we push the hips back just long enough to walk the hands all the way back to the feet. Forward fold. Gentle bend to the knees if you need it. We'll come all the way up to standing, shoulders down the back. You can shake out the legs and ankles as much as you need to, whatever movements feel appropriate. When you're ready, we'll come up to standing next to a wall if you'd like to. If you want to step off your mat, that's fine. We're just going to find a balancing position. We're just going to stand up on one foot here at a time. And we'll start off with the inside or outside edges of the feet parallel, lifting the crown of the head to the sky. So if the wall's to your side, that's perfect. Some people like to have the wall behind them, but wherever you are, we want to try to find balance into the feet. So whenever you're ready on the inhale, maintain length. And you can bring the toes to the foot. It doesn't matter which side you start with. Foot to the calf muscle, as long as you're keeping the heel below the knee so we aren't putting any pressure on our kneecap. If you'd like to come up to heel into the pelvis, that's an option. Just wherever you end up, we want to push the foot and leg together gently. Lift the crown of the head up to the sky. We'll start with hands in front of the heart. You can stay right here. Only if you want to, we can extend the arms to the sides, palms down, shoulders down. 5 deep breaths. Best spot for the gaze is on the floor out in front of us once again. Finding a spot that doesn't move to help us find stability. If you'd like, we'll bring the hands back to in front of the heart, shoulders and elbows relaxed down. And then you can close the eyes and fall out of your tree, or you can exhale the feet down side by side, whatever feels most appropriate for your body here. We'll shake out the legs and ankles as much as you need to. Same thing on the other side. So inside or outside edges of the feet parallel, reach the crown of the head up as the shoulders drop, a couple of breaths. And you can bring the toes to the floor with the heel to the ankle, toes to the foot. Coming up to the calf, just a little bit of pressure, just heel below the knee. Coming up to the inner thigh, that's an option. Foot and leg gently press together wherever you end up. Ribs lift up off the hip points, so I'll keep the chest lifted. Crown the head to the sky. So hands in front of the heart, you can stay right here. If you'd like to extend the arms to the sides, we'll reach out for the horizons. Same breath. Finding a spot on the floor, the ceiling to gaze at. Maintain all of your length. All we're doing is bringing the hands in front of the heart, shoulders and elbows relaxed down. Then to come out, you can exhale the feet down side by side, or you can close the eyes and fall out of your tree. Whatever you think is going to be best for your body. Eventually, we'll shake out the legs and ankles a little bit. Nice and wide here for just a moment. If you want to bring your toes slightly out to the sides, that's up to you. Just find even weight into the feet. Lift the ribs, hands to the thighs, and on the exhale, we'll start to move forward into a standing forward fold. Chest from side to side, fingertips to the floor if you'd like. We're just going to take a few breaths here. We're going to do the same thing from the floor here in a moment, but we'll start off standing. Chest from thigh to thigh. I'll open up into opposing hamstrings and glutes. A little bit of a lateral stretch into the lower back. This is crown of the head towards the floor. Inhale as you slowly come up, hands for support, unhinging. Once you're up to standing, we're in no hurry. Heel toe or step the feet together. We'll come all the way down to the floor onto the sits bones. I'm going to find a wide leg forward fold from the floor. So this time it'll be chest to the thighs. So go ahead and take your feet out to a comfortable width, whatever happens to be appropriate for you here today. Lift the ribs on the inhale and on the exhale forward to the chest, your wide leg forward fold. So shoulder from knee to knee. Chest from thigh to thigh like we did when we were standing. You don't want to jut the chin out in front of the body. You can even gently tuck the chin if you needed to. Your arms are out in front, elbows in tight, just whatever feels appropriate. You can even stack the fists and bring the forehead to the backs of the hands if you needed to. Ears from side to side. Chin from shoulder to shoulder. Once again, whatever movements you need to add. A pause here. About 5 deep, even breaths. Movement or stillness. Last deep breath. Hands for as little or as much support as you need. We're just going to walk the hands into the body to lift the spine. Hands to the outside edge of the thighs as we bring the legs in. Heels together. You can hop out the hamstrings here as much as you'd like. Excuse me. We're just going to come down onto the spine. And we're just going to turn sideways on the mat. Hands to the thighs, chin towards the chest, and we'll roll back nice and safe. Any side to side, front to back, small or big circles with the knees, just whatever movements you need to make. And when you're ready, we're in no hurry. We're just going to extend the feet to the sky. So the legs are long to the ceiling. Hands to the thighs if you'd like. Hands to the floor, just whatever feels appropriate. With the legs long and extended to the sky, we're just going to take about 4 breaths here. Knees into the chest, arms to the sides out in the T position, palms down if you'd like. So you can have the feet wide to the outside edges of the mat. So keep the twist kind of into the tops of the thighs, the lower back, a lot of pressure off the body. So whenever you're ready on the exhale, knees left, gaze right. We'll take about 4 or 5 breaths. Lots of breath into the diaphragm and the chest. So we get movement in the ribs below the armpits and the bottom side of ribs. Inhaling or exhaling back to center. And on the next out breath, we'll take the knees right, gaze left. Same deep, even breaths from here. Relaxing head, neck, and jaw. When you're ready on the inhale, we'll slowly come back up to center, lower back towards the floor. Knees into the chest for a moment. We'll wrap up with a nice symmetrical back bend here to engage all the muscles across the spine. So both feet come down to the glutes as close as is comfortable. Arms to the sides, palms down, shoulder blades flat. Glutes gently hug up against the back of the pelvis. Abs and obliques start to lift the ribs and kind of firm up like a corset across the center of the body. Gentle lift to the pelvic floor, and on the inhale, press the thighs up. So we're pushing the thighs up with the feet. We don't want to push up to the belly button. Thighs lift, hips will lift, the belly will follow, but we're once again leading up to the thighs. You can push the arms into the floor however you'd like. Palms down if you want to use fists, bending the elbows and pushing the triceps down, or you can bring the hands together under the body. Wherever you end up here, take about 4 or 5 breaths, pressing away from your feet up towards your shoulders. Exhale, you can start to come down. Nice and slow. So we don't relax down. We just move all of that support we hugged up against the skeleton back where we started. Knees into the chest, any kind of gentle side-to-side rocking. And when you're ready, we'll stretch our legs across the floor. So just heels a little bit wider than your hips so your toes fall off to the side. Palms up to the sky a little wider than the shoulders so the shoulder blades are flat. And you can rock the head from side to side to find the perfect spot on the back of the skull. Just breathing here for a moment. Try to relax the arches of the feet, the toes. Relaxing the lower half of the leg, the calves and the shins. Knees relax. Relax the tops of the thighs, that's the quadriceps. Backs of the thighs, the hamstrings. Groin muscles relax. Try to relax the glutes and the abs together, pelvic floor and the lower back together. Chest and shoulders are relaxed. Palms of the hands relax with the fingers. Exaggerating a couple of breaths if you need to. Relaxing the skin across the face of the scalp. Relaxing the jaw. Drawing focus to the movement of the ribs below the armpits and the bottom set of ribs as they expand and contract with the breath. Long, smooth exhales. Once again, you can relax the feet and the legs, hips, thighs, lower back relax together, shoulders, chest, and arms. Relaxing the head and neck. Just finding focus at the movement of the ribs below the armpits and the bottom set of ribs as you inhale and exhale. Exaggerating a few breaths as you need to at any point in time. Just trying to keep attention to the movement of the ribs as you breathe. So we're going to take about 5 or 6 more breaths here in stillness, and then we'll come back up to seated. So if you need to stay here for another 5 minutes, that's fine. Another 10 minutes, that's fine. Otherwise, if you'd like, we can start bringing awareness back to the body and the breath. Wiggling fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Gently bringing the thighs towards the chest, so the knees are into the chest, knees side to side, rocking here from your back. A few deep, even breaths here. Rolling over to whichever side of the body feels best for you here today. Just taking a couple of breaths on your side. Hands for support, however is comfortable. Come all the way up to a seated position we started off in. Shoulders over the hips, ears over the shoulders as we sit up nice and tall. Close the eyes and find a spot to gaze at. Just a few deep, even breaths. Noticing subtle changes to the body, the breath, and the mind here at the end of your practice. Maybe openness or fatigue to the body. Maybe for you that has more to do with the breathing or focus. Pace your breath, especially when our practice ends. We continue through our day, we continue through our week. Thanks for coming in this afternoon, and good to have you. If you have any suggestions for next time, you can always leave notes in the comments.